friends, and welcome back to another story for Dr. Seuss Week. I am going to be reading The Lorax. At the far end of town, where the gurgle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour, where it blows and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the gurgle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you will see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the gurgle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special midnights in August, he peeks out on the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. At the end of a rope, he lets down a 10-pel, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snoovy, his secret strange hole in his gravulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Sloop! Down slops the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snargly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with the teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long way back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami Swams rang out in space. One morning I came to a glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the sweet morning breeze. And under the trees I saw the brown barbaloots frisking around in their barbaloot suits as they played the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts as much was softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I wonder what that smells like. I felt a great leap of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with just one chop. And with great skillfully skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked and I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, said the Lorax, with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tufts? Look, Lorax, I said, there is no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. It's, I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. A need to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would want to buy that fool's need. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Let me move this around a little bit better. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was way too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off the truffula trees at one smacker, 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But then the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the barbaloots, who play in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffula fruits. But now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They're all sad and hungry. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I biggered my factory. I biggered my road, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everybody needs. Then, once again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance, Lorax, came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he wheezed, and he sneezed and he snuffled and he snargled and he sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a kerfunkulous croak, Onceler, you're making such a smogolious smoke. My poor swammy swams, well, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making glumpity-glup and schloppity-schlup. And what do you do with these leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. What do you think he did with all that goo? You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future's dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. How gross that